So the Google Assistant has appeared on an iPhone. Is Apple in trouble? Is now Siri in danger? I don't really think so, because we all know Siri is on everything Apple makes. Siri is on the iPhone, the Apple Watch, the iPad, the Mac, the Apple TV, absolutely everything, and the Google Assistant is only on the iPhone. To replace Siri, you have to replace Siri on everything. So I don't think Apple's worried about that. However, the question does come to mind, is there a difference in performance on the Google Assistant on a flagship Android smartphone like the Galaxy S8 Plus compared to running the Google Assistant on the nearly 7-month-old iPhone 7 Plus? I'm very curious to see if there's a difference, so I'm going to be testing a couple things on both of them at the same time. May the better smartphone win. Same digital assistant, but different phone. Let's give this a shot. How many calories are in a bag of potato chips?
1,217 calories in one bag.
I heard a slight edge to the iPhone. Maybe I should pay closer attention to the visuals instead. How much does a Google Pixel cost?
Here's a summary for TechRadar. The 32 gigabytes version costs $769 unlocked.
So interesting. I noticed a slight edge with the iPhone as well. Even though this is an older smartphone, the digital assistant is slightly performing better on here. Another cool thing people might not realize about having the Google Assistant on your iPhone is that you can still use the term, "Okay, Google," which again, I noticed appearing on the iPhone first.
Here's what I found.
This is really bizarre to me because I feel like the flagship smartphone of all of Android right now is the Samsung Galaxy S8. That is like the go-to smartphone when you're looking for Android. Why would the half-year-old iPhone still have a lead here? Okay, Google, what's the second tallest mountain in the world?
Highest mountains in world include Mount Everest at 29,029 feet.
Now the Google Assistant brags about knowing context, so I'm gonna give it a little bit of a test. Okay, Google, what about buildings?
Here is information from Wikipedia.
Okay, so that time the S8 did have a lead, and it did understand context. It put them in ranking order, which buildings are the tallest. Okay, Google, how tall is Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise is 5 feet 7 inches tall.
Once again, though, the iPhone came out on top this time. It's interesting that the internals of the hardware work better with an Apple-designed smartphone opposed to a Samsung, even though it's running Android in-house. Should Google do something about this? Again, I still think Google Assistants are pretty minor because they're really only good at show-off evidence like this. You know, how tall is Tom Cruise? What's the tallest building in the world? Pretty basic information. I still think there's a lot it should know that neither of them can't. Okay, Google, how many views did I get on my last video?
Here's what I found on the web.
It can't look at the fact that I'm a YouTuber and that I upload videos all the time and understand that, hey, I'm kind of curious on what goes on inside the Creator Studios app. Why can't it just tell me how many views the last video got? Or why can't it read me some of my comments if I'm on the road and I'm curious what people thought of my last video? It really can't answer that? Okay, Google, how many subscribers does Red Letter Media have?
Here are the top search results.
Again, it's not built in. They just kind of send you to a Red Letter Media YouTube stats, which does not display the actual statistics. But again, I don't mean to dock the Google Assistant too many points because I do think it is the best digital assistant out there. Given when I say, "Hey Bixby," absolutely nothing happens, Samsung. So why did we put it on the phone? And if I said something like, "Hey Siri, how much fat is in an avocado?"
There are 21 grams of total fat in 1 cup of sliced avocado.
Siri is still way behind. It definitely needs a major refresh at WWDC. How tall is Barack Obama?
Barack Obama is 6 feet 1 inch tall.
Both of these phones are connected to the same internet, so there's no data speed reason as to why Siri is so slow. But I do just find it interesting that Google's own built Google Assistant runs faster on an iPhone. Slightly, but they're pretty close. It does run slightly better on a half-year-old iPhone than it does on a brand new Galaxy S8 Plus. Now, to try to make things a little bit interesting, I also have Alexa on my iPhone, just built into the Amazon app. Let's see what she's capable of. How much does a cow weigh?
Cattle males typically have a weight of 2,400 pounds. Females typically have a weight of 1,600 pounds.
So as you can see, Alexa doesn't like to display actual visuals on the screen. What's the weather like in New York City?
Right now in New York City, it's 87 and mostly sunny tonight.
So isn't it a little bit bizarre that on one phone you can have Cortana, Siri, the Google Assistant, and Alexa? These digital assistants are getting a little bit out of control, aren't they? Just a tad bit. However, Amazon does make the Alexa app as well, if you want to be even more dedicated to Amazon's digital assistant that allows you to say things like, how many USB-C ports are on a MacBook Pro? But Alexa sometimes does show up a little bit short. Let's try the Google Assistant. How many USB-C ports are on a MacBook Pro?
According to Apple support, MacBook Pro, and MacBook Pro have either 2 or 4 ports with additional Thunderbolt 3 features built in.
Well, that's interesting because the digital part of it said that there are either 2 or 4, which on the MacBook Pro is correct, but on the visual text it says there's 1 until you get down to the bottom here. And then it has a picture of a Lightning to USB-C cable. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Okay, Google. Facebook message Xander Kangol that Alexa is not that smart.
I can't send Facebook messages.
Yikes. I don't want to use the built-in Messages app on Android. It's far superior to Facebook Messenger. Facebook message Xander Kangol that the Alexa app is not very smart.
I wish I could, but Facebook hasn't set that up.
So Facebook doesn't let do that either. Siri supposedly has the option to control chat messages through third parties, but apparently Facebook has not set that up. If you have apps like the WhatsApp, it should be available, but not yet on here, which is a real bummer, Facebook. Bottom line, I think, is that if you want all your digital assistants and you want to compare to all of them, the iPhone's the only one that has all of them plus Siri, which of course Siri is not available on any other platform. And we're okay with that right now because Siri is awful. Siri is not up to date and Siri is slow, but at WWDC, coming just around the corner, if they give Siri a major refresh and she becomes just as smart as the Google Assistant, if not smarter, the competition's gonna have a really hard time competing because Apple's not gonna be interested in bringing Siri to Android, to Windows, to anything competitors are willing to put on the iPhone. That's why I think Apple has the best chance of wiping the floor with digital assistants if they're capable of overhauling Siri to a massive state where she is smarter than everything else. So if Apple can pull that off, I think they've got a winner on their hands. What do you think of digital assistants in general? I think they're not really ready yet. I'd love to see what Apple is capable of, but I feel like the Google Assistant and Alexa are just kind of made to show off what phones and AI is capable of, but it's not really functional or useful yet. Of course, let me know what you think in the comments below. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.